Let's rock! What's going on, guys? We are back for some more Pokemon Blue version for our classic nostalgia run. Team is looking pretty good. It's been a minute. We have Vulpix, level 31. Ember, Tail Whip, Quick Attack, and Confuse Ray, 4 more levels. And it will get Flamethrower, and then we can evolve her. We got Wartortle, also 31. Bubble Beam, Water Gun, Bubble, and Bite. We'll get him some better moves a little bit later. We got Nidoking at 31 with Body Slam, Rock Slide, Seismic Toss, and Thrash. Almost a just solid move pool. If we can just get something better than Thrash, it'll probably be Strength, honestly. And I hate to use an HM on him, but we got Haunter level 32 with Psychic, Mega Drain, Nightshade, and Confuse Ray. Then we got my favorite, my boy, Raichu at level 32 with Thunderbolt, Thundershock, Quick Attack, and Thunder Wave. I don't really think there's much more to teach Raichu in Gen 1. And then lastly, we have Kadabra at level 32 with Psybeam, Confusion, Recover, and Teleport. So, team is looking pretty solid. We've got 4 badges. I don't have Fly, though. I also don't... It's Gen 1. We don't have the ability to hit the select button and just hop on our bike. Actually, I think I also... we've already been to Saffron, because that's how we got the TM for Psychic for Haunter. So we can just cut through here. We're going to go down Cycling Road and battle those trainers. Loop down around to Fuchsia. Finish battling the trainers over on Route 15. And then we're going to slap up Team Rocket and Silphco. I'm going to go ahead and put Giovanni in his place for a second time. Now, I know we still have the Eevee. I don't know if we ever got the Eevee. There's no point in getting Fly, to be honest. Oh, yeah. We gotta wake up Big Boy here. I don't know. I mean, like, each of the evolutions are pretty solid in Gen 1. But we got Raichu, which is basically Jolteon, but a little not as good stat-wise, but it's my favorite, so I don't care. We got Flareon, which I love Flareon, but we have, we're going to have a Ninetales, which I love Ninetales so much more. That was a crit. Oh, that's not good. Alright, you shouldn't be able to touch Haunter. And then we have Wartortle, our starter, which obviously we're going to have a Blastoise, and that's not going anywhere. So, really, we don't need any of the evolutions. Now, if we could have an Espeon, I'd definitely have Espeon over Kadabra, or if we could have an Umbreon. I don't know why we picked Mega Drain. Oh, that was a crit, though. If we can get a good crit on Psychic, this should kill. Oh, look at me, Pokemon Master with the knowledge. And Snorlax returned to the mountains. Great, cool. Now I gotta go heal, though. Which kinda sucks, but eh. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to change up our team. There's not really a reason to. Blastoise is not coming off the team. Raichu's not coming off the team. Nidoking's not coming off the team. I really don't want Ninetales to come off the team either, which comes down to Haunter and Kadabra. Which, even without evolving, Haunter and Kadabra are fantastic. Like, they don't need to evolve. Their stats are pretty fucking good for a middle stage Pokemon. But there's not a whole lot I would consider adding. Besides, like, we could add Aerodactyl, that'd be cool. Or we could add one of the legendary birds. But, other than that, like, I don't know. I just don't really feel like there's anything better to add. Vulpix, I need you to level up pretty please. Disable the quick attack? That's fine. I'm not using it anyways. Come on, no burn or nothing? Even with Vulpix, it's like, what do I teach Vulpix? It'll learn Flamethrower, cool. I can teach it Fire Blast, I guess. That's cool too, but like there isn't anything really to teach. So many Pokemon in Gen 1 just can't learn anything good. Now, like Nidoking can learn almost anything, which I just absolutely love. But, like, Raichu gets normal and electric type moves. I don't even think it can learn anything fighting in this game. Vulpix doesn't get anything besides fire and normal. It doesn't get any grass type moves, no solar beam, no energy ball. It doesn't get psychic moves like extrasensory yet. Blastoise, I mean, could have like, I think there's a couple fighting moves Blastoise could learn. And then you can learn ice type moves, but other than that, again, it's just water and normal. Kadabra? I'm trying to think. I know Haunter can learn some stuff. Like, Haunter can learn Thunderbolt, Mega Drain, Psychic. It's ghost type moves. Kadabra gets Psychic type moves. I don't remember. I know in Gen 2, Alakazam can have Fire, Thunder, and Ice Punch, which makes Alakazam extremely terrifying. And not really like those. I mean, those aren't the best moves because the Psychic from Alakazam is doing far more. But even so, like, gives him tight coverage out the ass. And with a crit, Wartortle proves that he don't need no other moves. You know, even all these years later, it's been it's been over 20 freaking years. I still am not sure if I prefer that Wartortle evolves into Blastoise now, or that we could have had a third evolution for Wartortle, and then Blastoise been its own Pokemon. Because, I mean, it would have been cool either way, I guess. I mean, ideally, we don't even really need to battle any of these cue balls, these bikers, but it's experience. That's basically all it is. Just, I mean, we get some pocket change, get some lunch money, but we'll get a burn, that's what. And I thought about it before. It's like, even if I chose to... If I chose to add another Pokemon to the team, if I added one of the legendary birds, they're level 50 anyways. So I don't have to worry about, you know, leveling them up, because I thought about it, it's like, well, I could catch or, you know, get whatever I'm going to get and then battle all these guys and save up that experience. But again, there's not really anything else to use it on. Ooh, it's big boy likes to boom. See, and having Haunter, having a ghost type, it's like it gives me an option. It gives me just such a hard counter to Pokemon that want to blow up or use the poison types or use normal type moves. Which Kadabra doesn't grant us that. However, Kadabra is just a fucking powerhouse on his own. And Psychic is a really good type, so... You know, aside from the fact that Psychic doesn't really have any weaknesses, but even in this game, it's like Bug-type moves fucking suck. Ghost-type moves, the only Ghost-type move is Lick, because Nightshade doesn't even check for typing. Besides on a normal type. Like, Nightshade won't hit a Pidgey. But it's also not going to do super effective damage to a Kadabra. Let's see, what level? I think we get the fossils at level 30, right? Cerebi is not telling me. Why? What? I mean, it has to be the case, because it gets wing attack and agility and doesn't learn anything until 33 supersonic, 38 bite, 45 takedown, and 54 hyper beam. So besides wing attack, it doesn't even get anything decent. And it can learn Fire Blast, but it can't even learn like a rock type move. So like you get Rock Slide, which I taught to Nidoking, but the rock type Pokemon, nah. Like, it's funny because Gen 1 was the game that was still trying to figure itself out. So, Red and Blue and Yellow to an extent were so difficult because you just weren't told half the shit in the game. You had to learn so much of it without any assistance. And then even then, you had like Pokemon that just, like it's Aerodactyl. It's a flying rock type move. It gets 0 rock type moves. Not by level up or even by TM. The Gold and Silver kind of fixed that a bit, but not quite enough, but it definitely did a lot better. Which is also why, even though I grew up with Red and Blue as my first games, Gold and Silver I still think are the perfect first game. Also the fact that they're easier, which for, you know, someone who's like good at the game. Oh, whoops. Didn't know she was disabled. For, you know, for us veterans, it's like the level curve is so low that you don't really have to try. But the level curve in Red and Blue was pretty substantial. I mean, fucking A, especially when you get to like, when you get to Gary, and I think his lowest level Pokemon's 58, and his other Pokemon get up into the 60s. Like, there was no fucking around with Gary. Not in that champion battle. And it felt like you had to... It felt more like you had to actually grind your team. Especially when you get to the end of the game. And it's like, to even have your Pokemon at 50, which, in my opinion, 50 is not high enough level. Yeah. 50 is not high enough to go into the Elite Four. I mean, you can do it, but I usually try to get mine at 55. And so that requires me to do some grinding in Victory Road at the end, and that kind of sucks. It sucks to have to do that, especially because grinding is just, it's so monotonous. It's so just brain-numbingly boring. Nidoking is pretty much, he's immune to poison. He's 4 times resisted to poison moves. But still, if this thing decides to self-destruct, Nidoking will take a good chunk of damage. Hey, that was way too much, yo. Almost. Oh. Nidoking grew to 32. Haunter grew to 33. Haunter's also that Pokemon that, like, I don't know. I mean, I like Kadabra and I like Alakazam, but I like Haunter and Gengar so much more. And I like them both not equally. I like them both enough that I'm like, I just realized what I was doing. It's so fucking awkward. Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, it's just like, Haunter is such a cool Pokemon by himself, whereas Kadabra is too, but not on Haunter's level. But then Gengar is such a cool Pokemon, which so is Alakazam, but again, he's nowhere near Gengar's level. Every time I battle these guys too, it always just makes me think of the bike gang that Ash, Misty, and Brock had to deal with in the anime when they're trying to cross the bike bridge, and it's like, those guys were just idiots. What was the move that gets better when they use Minimize? Was it Stomp? I mean, we landed the hit either way, but smoked. I didn't know that was Jim Carrey. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like all of these Pokemon, obviously. I mean, I've pretty much got my bases covered. Now, granted, with Kadabra's a little faster and hits a little bit harder than Haunter. And I mean, I believe it is our fastest and our strongest Pokemon stat-wise. But I feel like if I was going to take one off the team, I feel like it would be Kadabra. Haunter's only like 5 points slower, 5 points weaker. And I believe he only gets psychic moves in this game. Whereas, I mean, Haunter's got psychic, he's got Mega Drain, which is grass. Nightshade is just Nightshade. But Haunter can learn other stuff. I'll check Kadabra, just to check. Let's let Raichu come out. Everybody else has seen play so far. Kadabra will get Psychic at 38, but that's it. Let's see, TM wise though. I mean, yeah, like he can't even, he gets Thunder Wave, but he can't even get like access to like Thunderbolt, for example, which Haunter does. So I don't know. I feel like if I was going to take one off, but what would be the benefit? I mean, Aerodactyl is a hell of a lot faster than Kadabra. Obviously, with a base of 130. Kadabra's special is 120. I believe Aerodactyl's attack, I think, is only 110? 105. So 105 in the older games, did they change it to 110 later? I'm not sure. And then the legendary birds are just the legendary birds. Like, they're just that good. It would just kind of come down to, do you want to use Articuno, Zapdos, or Moltres? Which Moltres, again, I've got Ninetales. Zapdos, I've got Raichu. So Articuno would probably be the best. It'd give us Ice and it'd give us Flying. But honestly, Articuno would probably be best, just because it's like Raichu, fast attacker, Haunter, fast attacker, Ninetales, fast attacker, Nidoking, a little bit slower attacker, but a little bulkier. Kadabra, again, fast attacker, and then we got Wartortle, which will be a Blastoise, will be our tankiest. Obviously, Articuno will be a freaking lot tankier. So maybe it's best to get Articuno? I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to swap. Got the paralysis. You know, for being like literally a 1 in 3 chance, I don't think we get that paralysis enough. Nidoking, 33. Wheezing? Yep, back to Haunter. Back to the safe zone. See, Haunter gets Mega Drain, Haunter gets Thunder and Thunderbolt. I'll probably teach Haunter Thunder. I mean, I don't have a choice. I can't teach him Thunderbolt because we taught Raichu Thunderbolt. Or rather, Pikachu. He's got Mega Drain. He's got Psychic already. Can learn Self-Destruct, but Gets Psywave, gets Explosion. Like, yeah, I mean, Haunter can just do a little bit more. So that's why I think Kadabra would be the better one to replace. But that's if we do, because there's not really much else. Because mainly what I was trying to do with this is I wanted it to be, it was supposed to be a nostalgia run. So I wanted to use the original team I used in my first playthrough. Which is also why I have Wartortle and not, you know, I didn't pick Bulbasaur. Because during my very first playthrough, as a kid, I picked Squirtle. And I know for a fact, Squirtle was my starter. Obviously, I know I had Raichu and Nidoking, because those are my two of my favorite Pokemon. And I know I had Ninetales, because you couldn't... Blue version had Vulpix. Red version had Growlithe. So I know I had Vulpix. And I know I had Haunter because I wasn't able to trade and get a Gengar. Or maybe I was. I don't remember. But I remember liking Haunter a shit ton. So maybe I couldn't. Maybe I just had Haunter. But for some reason, that 6th Pokemon always eludes me in my memory. Like, I can't access that information. It's the last one that I don't remember. And it may have been Kadabra. Because I've always really liked Kadabra. I like Alakazam too, but for something about Kadabra's design is different enough that I really like it. But I don't know what the other Pokemon would have been. Like, I love Dragonite. That's one of my favorite Pokemon, but I know it wasn't a Dragonite. I don't even know if I got Dratini during my first playthrough. I mean, I know I did afterwards, eventually, but... It could have been a Gyarados. It could have been Jolteon. Because I know Jolteon is the evolution I went with first. So it could have honestly been Jolteon. Alright, so we're down here. I'm going to actually teleport back to Celadon so I can heal. And then we'll go back down and get the other bikers that we missed. Let's see. And I mean, Jolteon would give me dual typings, which, again, during your very first playthrough, no matter what generation you started with, that's really not something that you give a shit about unless you're, like, an adult. Let's put Wartortle out front. Because as a kid, you didn't... that wasn't on your mind. You were just like, oh, I love these Pokemon. And at some point, you may be like, well, I don't need to have 5 water types. But you're not going to... You're not going to look at 2 of the same type and be like, I shouldn't have this. But I mean, what does a Jolteon get? Quick Attack at 27. Thunder Shock at 31. Thunder Wave at 40. Pin Missile, which is garbage. And Thunder at 54. Jolteon doesn't get anything, and again, it just serves the role of just giving us another fast attacker. And we don't need a team full of sweepers. mean, Articuno gets Peck, Ice Beam, and Blizzard. Like, literally can't even have three... Can't even have, like, a full damaging setup outside of TMs. Oh, he could have got Bubble Beam, but eh. Could teach him Hyper Beam. He gets Sky Attack. He gets Fly. So, I mean, it's like, I could. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think. It doesn't really matter, even for a playthrough. It's like, oh, I could have a full team of sweepers. Is that really going to make a difference? No. Not in the slightest. It's just really just whether or not I feel like swapping out. I guess it also comes down to, do I want... Yeah, Primeape. Do I want to swap out of base set for my team? Because, I mean, all 6 of my party right now are from the base set. And Jolteon's Jungle, Aerodactyl and Articuno or Fossil. Like, I mean, we could go that route. They'd still be OG. I don't know which way to go. Still be OG Wizards of the Coast, but I don't know. I almost feel like I should just keep it maybe I should just keep it the way it is. Sonic Boom, you missed. Speed fell. I need to get the TM for Earthquake. Well, blew up. Alright. Nidoking just brush it off. And that'll actually cover his moveset right there. Granted, Poison sucks ass in Gen 1. I don't think Nidoking can he get Sludge? That's not a TM, right? Let's see. Ouch. I mean, like, he gets Poison Sting, which is absolute dog water. Who are you? I mean, it gets Toxic, which is whatever. You can learn Ice Beam, you can learn Blizzard. He's got Seismic Toss right now. Could teach him Submission, but I don't feel like that's necessary just because it does a lot of damage back to you. And then Earthquake. Fire Blast, there's no point. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty solid moveset for Nidoking. Earthquake, Rock Slide, Seismic Toss, and Body Slam. So he's got stab and coverage between ground and fighting. Although I guess Seismic Toss doesn't really matter. And then Body Slam's just generic, just try and do some damage, paralyze them. And Rock Slide. And I mean, we could always just sit there and go Body Slam, get the paralysis, Rock Slide, get the flinch. Or even better yet, Thunder Wave and then do it. Alright, we're gonna teleport back one more time because I think there's two bikers in that middle area. I mean, our levels are already pretty on par for going into Silph anyways, but oh, so there was no one on that middle route. So I guess that middle route's supposed to be like the way to avoid battling trainers. But that to me just kind of, again, defeats the purpose. Route 18, the best place to get you some Doduos. I don't remember if you can, I think you can find Wild Dodrio too. I think. Oh, that Thunderbolt sound effect is so meaty. I just don't want to feel like we're wasting experience on a party member we're not going to keep. But, again, Kadabra's really the only one that I'm debating would be removed. And there's not a whole lot of options. I wonder. Tentacruel is one of those Pokemon that's really warmed up to me over the years. Like, I like... I'm not big on Tentacool, but I like Tentacruel's design. I can't place it in one of my favorite Pokemon just as... I don't know, it just seems like a disservice to the Pokemon I would put, you know, at the top of my list. But Tentacruel is, aside from the fact it's got just some really good stats. I mean, base speed 100 is pretty good. Base special is 120, which when converted to a game where special is, you know, special attack and special defense, I believe it's 120 special defense. I think its special attack's like 80 or 90. But it gives it, like, the ability to be a very speedy, kind of, like, tanky Pokemon. But also, I mean, it looks like the only Poison-type move it would get in Gen 1 is Acid. Again, because Poison Sting fucking sucks. Hey, there's a Dodrio. But, I mean, besides Hydro Pump, you got... Plus, you get Barrier, which is a pretty nice move, too. So, Barrier makes its, you know, base 65 defense a lot better. But, I mean, you've got Hydro Pump, you've got Ice Beam, Blizzard, Mega Drain, so you can get some HP back, some good recovery. Like, Tentacruel would just be a cool Pokemon to play with. What I actually wanted to check, though... There's so many good Pokemon in Gen 1 that I wouldn't mind using. Like Starmie, for example. I mean, Starmie gets Thunder and Thunderbolt, gets Psychic, gets all the water moves, it gets the ice moves. Even gets Thunder Wave, so it's like... You got Hydro Pump, Thunder, Psychic... and Blizzard. And I mean, Starmie base 115 is one of the fastest in Gen 1. And I mean, that's pretty damn good coverage between Psychic, Water, Electric, and Ice. So you hit Special super effective with that. That's base Special 100 is still going to do some good damage. I really just need to figure out a game to do a Type Lock and just do Water Pokemon, and I don't know what game to pick for it. Maybe I'll do a vote and let you guys pick, but... So close, Vulpix. Let's see, Gyarados gets... Bite, Dragon Rage, Hydro Pump, Hyper Beam, the water moves, the ice moves, the electric moves, Fire Blast. But aside from a really strong physical attack that none of those moves really take advantage of, as cool of a Pokemon as Gyarados is, as one of my favorites, I just can't justify it. Again, that would be like if I did a Type Lock. I feel like I should do a Type Lock and just do like... I mean, honestly, my favorite type is Water. Just because I think I think out of every type there is, I have more favorites that are Water type than any other type by far. Although Ghost has recently gotten some really good types. And while Electric is a really awesome type, I feel like the problem is like Electric and Fire. so many Pokemon only get, like, their stab moves. And, like, for example, Vulpix, or Ninetales specifically, can have Fire, can get Solar Beam, and I think Energy Ball in the later games, as well as Extra Sensory and access to Shadow Ball. So that's some pretty good type coverage. But most fire types don't get that. Most electric types don't get additional type coverage. Whereas, like, water types, depending on the additional typing, you got water and ice is almost like just a guarantee. But then, like, some of them get electric moves. Some of them get psychic. Some of them get grass. Poison. It's water type. I think water's the most abundant type outside of normal in the entire franchise. But for good reason. There's just so many good water type Pokemon. And, like, I couldn't do a type lock for Ghost unless it was one of the more recent titles. Whereas Water, it's like, I could pick Water just about any time. Though most of my preferred water types are, getting poisoned really sucks. I don't think I have an antidote either. Most of the water types I like are within the first few generations, with the exception of Wishy-Washy being one of my favorite Pokemon. But I mean, I'm definitely not gonna waste a type like on Gen 7. And I don't remember if Wishy-Washy was in Sword and Shield, but it's not in Scarlet and Violet. So I don't really have to worry about that, which means I can do pretty much whatever game I wanted, and there's more than enough good water types. It's just either how early can you get them, or if there's enough that you can do a randomizer. Because there is a randomizer option that there's several randomizer options, one of which says this Pokemon and every one of them in every area is gonna be this Pokemon. So like Pidgeotto, for example, since it's right here. If it got... What the hell? If it got randomized to Magikarp, everywhere you run into Pidgeotto is now a Magikarp. But then there's a different option that I don't think I ever used, that you can randomize it to... it'll randomize it'll randomize the Pokemon every time. So instead of Pidgeotto's being Magikarp, it may be a Magikarp that time, and then the next time it's a Blastoise. So maybe I could do that and just be like, hey, I gotta keep resetting until I get a water type. That would kind of suck, depending on how long it takes, but I guess thankfully water is, again, the most populous type. Not popular, most populous. There's more water than anything else, again, outside of normal types. I don't know, I'll have to think about it. Because I don't want to, the thing is, I don't want to keep playing Gen 1 and 2. But I also would have to figure out what game would work. What game to play would be fun. Like, I like playing Gen 1 and 2. All the time. Gen 3, and Gen 4 is I can play them. I don't have issues. I have issues with them, but I don't have as many issues with them to do repeated replays. Like Gen 5 would be a fun one, but I don't know. I don't know. Oh, what the? Oh. Okay, so that's where we are. I know there's a couple up above. I think I'll honestly just get those off screen. Because I also have to get cut, and yeah, it's a bunch of fucking around I don't feel like doing. And it's only a couple trainers, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's not randomized, so it's not like there'd be any wild, crazy excitement that we'd miss out on. I guess it says somewhat where not having fly kind of sucks. Do ba do 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 ba da ba da 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 da. Oops. See, because there's also that dude there and that item. That I don't have just because I don't have cut and it's not worth dealing with all that. Oh man, I didn't mean to go all the way over into the grass. Shiny? Nope. I don't actually know. It could be a shiny if I were to transfer it. Whoops. I'm glad they're keeping Pokebank going, so we can still transfer Pokemon up. It does suck that they're pretty much closing every other application, I guess we could call them, for fuck. For wow. For the 3DS. Man, my brain was not gonna figure that out. But it was also something I don't know. Like, as a kid, Game Boy games were something, but growing up, it's like, you know, outside of a Yu-Gi-Oh game here and there, I only ever bought Pokemon games. no point in switching. Like, there are definitely different things I could come up with for, like, a type lock kind of thing. Aside from, like, going with water and then ghost and then... One I would definitely like to do, but I'd have to figure out which game it would be viable. Would be... I didn't know what to call them. A dino lock, maybe. I actually saw somebody be like, ask if they were the only one that liked this particular style of Pokemon. And they referred to them as kaijus. And, yes, I know the whole what kaijus are, blah, blah. Just not something I would have called them. But, like, Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Rhydon, Tyranitar, Aggron, those kind of Pokemon. And it's like, yo, like, I'd love to do a team like that. And do, like, a Nuzlocke with, or a Type Lock, rather. With Pokemon like that, but... I don't know how that would be plausible without just straight up manipulating the numbers like that. Is this the floor? Nope. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Fuck. Oh, wait, was I already on it? Aha, it is this one. Okay. So what I like to do when I go to Silph, every time I go straight to this floor. And just because I know the key card is over here. And it's so much easier than fucking around with all the tiles. I'll just go and I can open every key card door. And just go up the floors normally. It was pretty much my way of figuring out how to get around. Oh wow, you bitch. How to get around having to deal with the warp panels and just not taking forever in Silph. Like, I don't know how long I plan to stream, because last night I literally got no sleep. Like, I don't think I actually fell asleep until maybe 7 a.m. And it's not like I was up fucking around. I was laying down trying my damnedest. I don't have any medicines. See? And card key. And then I can just go through one by one into every single room. Normally, I think I would say my team would be, good thing you're not Steel type yet. I think for a monster dino kaiju team, it would be Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Rhydon, Rhyperior, Tyranitar, and Aggron. And then if you absolutely wanted, you could have either Mega Tyranitar or Mega Aggron. I would definitely pick Mega Tyranitar personally. But then the cool thing too is it's also basically a sand team. Because you got Ground Ground, Ground Rock, Rock Dark, and Rock Steel. Now, Nidoking and Nidoqueen, they're immune to the sandstorm damage. They just wouldn't get the buff from the sandstorm because they're not rock types. So that could be cool to do. I also saw somebody throwing in, like, Pokemon like Feraligatr or, Krookodile. And it's like, I guess they kind of, you could say they fall into that category. Though, I personally feel like, while I would pick Feraligatr, because not only do I like Feraligatr, but also because he's just cool water Pokemon. But I feel like it would kind of disrupt the theme of it being like a sandstorm team, and also like all Pokemon that Giovanni would totally use. But having Feraligatr would give you more type options. So it's kind of, I guess it just kind of goes to how you would want to play that kind of type lock. And even though Nidoking and Nidoqueen are very similar, they can do totally different roles. Same thing with Rhydon and Rhyperior. They're literally from the same evolution line. But Rhyperior's got that ability that lets you, that basically nullifies super effective attacks. And then you've got Rhydon, who you can actually turn into like a thick, bulky sweeper. So you can do some crazy stuff. And I mean, you can do all kinds of shit with other teams like that too. But it's like, that team in particular has always been a team that I've wanted to try and make work. Unfortunately, in Gen 9, that's just not doable. And I think the only Pokemon of those 6 that are even possible to have in Gen 9 is Tyranitar. Which I have a sand team on Scarlet that I want to try and fool around with on Wi-Fi battles. I'm not competitive enough when it comes to Pokemon. And that's kind of makes it more difficult for me to be in a competitive format. Because I'm trying to think. Gen 4 was when I really picked up competitive battle again. And then we had Gen 5, and I picked it up even harder with Gen 5. And I think Gen 5 is around the time when my Yu-Gi-Oh group was big into the Pokemon VGC games. And wheezing. Then Gen 6 just definitely wasn't it. I did some competitive battling in Gen 7, but I just wasn't fond of the whole Z crystals. But I did have a really fun ice team I liked using. And now with the change to hail, from hail to snow, in Gen 9, I feel like ice could do some shit again. But it's weird because it's like, so we got Ninetales back, which means we got Alolan Ninetales, which means you can do the whole Aurora Veil, setting up the weather, etc. But we already had Tyranitar, which allows for some fun Sand Team shenanigans. But now we've got, since we do have Ninetales back, Ninetales to me is such a better Sunsetter with Drought than Torkoal. And then we got Politoed back, which I like Politoed so much better than Pelipper as a Drizzle setter. So it kind of makes me want to make several weather teams to just do with some competitive battling. But again, I haven't really been into the competitive scene a whole lot in recent times, so it's just like, I don't know. I just don't know if it'd be worth it. Sorry about that. At least I left you with the dopest Pokemon music ever. Friggin' Team Rocket music is the GOAT. That's not helpful. Yeah. I swear, I remember these warp panels being such a fucking headache. And that's why that's pretty much why I developed this method, to just not have to deal with them. But even like even in Sabrina's nope, in Sabrina's gym, my method is just always going horizontal. Because no matter what, if all you're doing is going left and right, you will get there. There might be a better method, but nothing's as simple as that method. Itahino. We're just gonna hit him hard, hit him fast. Oh, not quite. Oh, not quite enough damage either. I'm gonna start planning some more shiny hunts. But weirdly enough, more of you want to see shiny hunts in Let's Go than you do in Scarlet. So it's like I've got to plan shiny hunts for both games. I'm just surprised more people want to see them in Let's Go. Because I felt like majority of players didn't like Let's Go. I loved the game. I mean, yeah, it was in Gen 1. Rah, 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 rah. The only thing I didn't like about it was the Pokemon Go catching aspect. Like, not getting to battle the wild Pokemon. Otherwise, like, it was a fun game. I loved the visuals. I loved getting to have a Pokemon following you around. And the shiny hunting method, fucking fantastic. I mean, granted, like, shiny hunting in Gen 9 is great too. Like, outbreaks are good. They work. You can make your little sandwiches for whatever, that works too. But the thing I like about doing in Let's Go is the fact that in Let's Go, I'm afraid of you blowing up. In Let's Go, you can just shiny hunt any Pokemon without any issue. The only difference is certain Pokemon only one appear on screen at a time, like the starters. But other than that, the only thing is just, you know, breaking your catch combo. So if you don't do that, then you're set. It's simple to do. And I mean, either way, at that point, you're also just, you know, waiting for a shiny to pop up, whether it's in Let's Go or in Scarlet and Violet. So they're both good methods. It also just gives you the option to shiny hunt different Pokemon, because obviously not all the Pokemon are in Scarlet and Violet. Which one of these is it takes you to the healing bed? Is it this one? Nope. Excuse me, Gary. I ain't about to deal with you yet. It's this one. I knew it was one of those two. One took you to the healing, and one took you to Gary. And that's, honestly, that's the fastest way if you just want to skip everything in Silph and just go straight to Gary and go straight to Giovanni. But, yeah, where's the fun in that? Damn it. Oh, critical hit. Disabled bubble, but not the beam. I think we'll have, if we stream long enough, we will have Ninetales and Blastoise in this video. Or in this stream. Do. I don't remember. Was there anything up here? Alright. So there was nothing here. Just seems weird. not sure. Honestly, I might just wrap up Silphco, like as far as battling all the rockets and stuff, and then just call it, and we'll save Giovanni for the first thing the next stream. Like, I definitely want to keep playing, but I don't know that my body does. To be honest, I don't know what it wants anymore. Because last night, like, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't get comfortable. My stomach was not happy, but it was just like, I didn't know why. And anytime I managed to doze off, just like, I just dreamt about the weirdest shit. And I couldn't stay asleep for more than like a minute or so. A Cubone. I really just want to see that base set Blastoise on the screen, on the layout. Like, that's actually one of the original cards that I never got to own, ever. Like, when base set came out, like, I got a decent share of base set packs. But all I ever pulled was Charizard. I got a Venusaur from a trade sometime in middle school that I remember. And, of course, that, I guess, was with the rest of the stuff that I lost over the years. And, with my family relocating things. And I currently have a Venusaur in my collection. Of course, I still have the Charizard. But yeah, I never obtained a base set Blastoise. I wish I had before the pandemic and before Pokemon was ruined for collectors. Like, I honestly wouldn't even mind if it was just a base set Blastoise. I would prefer to have a Shadowless one. Just because I started collecting Shadowless Pokemon right before the pandemic. And so I have several Shadowless base set cards. Some are hollow, some aren't. That I just, was acquiring. And, for not much at all back then. I should have went with Haunter. And now it's so expensive. Like, I wanted to have the base set Shadowless complete. Mainly because the Shadowless run, the non-first edition Shadowless run, was actually a shorter print than the first edition run. So to me, it felt a little more special. Also, not to mention the Shadowless Raichu, the pristine one that I'm terrified of setting off to get graded, and that's why I never have, kind of started me on that to begin with. It's not a first edition. But also, like, first edition for certain cards, mainly, it doesn't really work so much for fire and fire, electric, or fighting, but especially for water, grass, and psychic, the blue, green, and purple look really nice with the the faded color that comes with Shadowless. So that would definitely be, I couldn't say it'd be my Holy Grail, because I don't even know what my Holy Grail card would be. I'm pretty sure I know what it would be for Yu-Gi-Oh, but for Pokemon, it's like, this is not a good matchup. I mean, a Shadowless Blastoise would definitely be up there. Or even first edition. Same thing with Nidoking, same thing with Raichu. It would more than likely be a base set card or a Neo set card. I mean, I guess graded is cool for like the bragging rights, and obviously it's artificially worth more. But I don't really care. Plus, I don't want to invest the money in it. And also, it's not something like, I guess if I plan on selling certain things eventually, but it's like I want to keep a small collection, but how small that collection is, my desire varies. And I mean, like, I have a Neo Genesis First Edition Lugia. I have Shadowless Raichu. I have First Edition Fossil Dark and Lieutenant Surge's Hollow Raichu. Shining Raichu, maybe? I don't know. It would just have to be something that would be sentimental. Or I guess sentimental in the case of like, because obviously there's no sentimental value if I just bought it from some random off eBay. But like the Pokemon itself would have to mean something. The random swap outs that the CPU makes sometimes really baffle me. Like, what's the point? What are you thinking? And like as far as our team is right now, I have a Shadowless base set Raichu, Shadowless Nidoking, Shadowless Haunter, and Vulpix. And I have a Ghastly, but... and a Squirtle. I have Shadowless of all three of the base starters. I don't think a Shadowless Kadabra would be that expensive. But the Blastoise, definitely. Shadowless Ninetales. You can get it for kind of cheap. Really around like 20, 30 bucks. If you find it right. But it's like every time I find one, it's like, oh, I kind of like, I'll see a bid and I'm like, this would be perfect to have. But then there's always something that's really wrong with it. And it's like, I would accept a light play. Or like a very light play. Just a little tiny bit of whitening. But then it's like, oh, there's a crease. Like, fuck that. I am absolutely not accepting one that has a crease. Pokemon's it's just like, there's so many good Pokemon. And as far as cards go, like, I mean, Lugia is definitely not more of a favorite for me over Raichu, Gengar, and Umbreon. No way. Those are my top 3. I'd say Nidoking is number 4. But Genesis Lugia is a special card. And especially the fact that I've owned one, or I've owned multiples at different points in my life. It's a special card. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what would be considered a holy grail to me personally. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Wise, it's just probably a Ghost Rare Rainbow Dragon. But I had an English one, and I had to sell it. But I feel like it would just look so much better. Yes, Flamethrower. It just looks so much better in the Japanese version, so I'd rather have it in Japanese. Which makes it cheaper-ish. But even so, if I wanted like a PSA 10, it would still be, a couple $100. And like I just can't justify that kind of money for a card. I mean, if it was something that I got to, hang up and, like, if I could put it to where, like, on my desk and I could see it every day and admire it without having to pick it up, that'd be different. That's a useless TM. Yeah, I would most definitely rather have Thrash. What? He say you dare betray Team Rocket? I don't think I betrayed shit. I just came in here and started whooping your ass. The older cards also had like such great art that we don't see now. And like, yeah, some of the newer cards look great, and you've got like full arts, and you get the alt arts that some of them are really good looking. But there's a simplicity to the Wizards of the Coast era cards. Especially, like, we got the gym leader cards. You got the Team Rocket set. We had the Neo sets. Not so much the Gen 3 sets specifically, but like Aquapolis and Skyridge being absolutely amazing sets. But even compared to like the new stuff that we're getting, the Scarlet and Violet stuff and the 151 set, like I still think the old level X's or even like the primes are better looking than the cards we get now. And in a way, sometimes the stuff we get now is it's too extra. Like, it's so busy and there's so much going on that you can't really appreciate the art of the Pokemon itself. Like, I've been waiting. I mean, Gengar has had a level X. He had the OG, he had Primes, he had EX, he had GX, V, and then now we're back to EX again. It's like Gengar will have one. Raichu was there the whole time too. Umbreon and Espeon, though they weren't with the level X's, they were there with the primes. But then, even Ninetales has had a couple cool full arts now. But the most Nidoking had was like a break. We did have the Crystal Nidoking, but I feel like that doesn't count because it's such a secret rare that those cards were, and still are, stupid hard to come by, and they're stupid expensive. Okay, I don't want to deal with that. But it's like Nidoking, he finally got a full art because he got the illustration rare in 151, but it's like the card, it's so like zoomed out that it feels like Nidoking isn't even the star of the card. Like, I'd rather have like just a basic full art of Nidoking looking like a badass, like the X and Y era full arts. It just doesn't, I don't know, it's just not as good. And it feels like everything since then has been a downgrade. It's like everything since the Wizards of the Coast sets was a downgrade up until the Plasma sets. And we got like when we started getting like the first EXs and shit. With Dragons Exalted. And then leading up into the EXs, but then we went to the GXs, and the card art fucking sucked. It was bland, boring. We went to the Vs, where they were kind of better, but then it was still also not great. And then now we're back to EXs, and it's like, they're not terrible, but they're still just... I don't know, I feel like it can't get back to where it was that made it good in the first place. And like I said, I know people disagree with me on the like full arts and the alt arts and shit. that we currently have, but they're too busy. There's like so much. Like look at the Moonbreon that everybody's after. And it's like, yeah, it's a good looking card, but there's just it's so busy. But then also the Aquapolis Hollow Umbreon that I have, it has the same theme to it, but it's not as obnoxious. I don't know if that's the right word. It's just the newer shit is just so much more. It's just so much busier. I don't know how else to describe it. Wartortle, come on. Like, I'm trying to get you to fucking evolve. Thank you. Definitely gotta swap now, though. Oh, damn, if only I had this magic flute. And now you die. Well. Hey, I know it's just here, but, can you heal my Pokemon again? Do I have that? Well... I think this is the one we're supposed to be on. Yeah. Bup, 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 bup. Bingo! TM3. That was a good one, wasn't it? Swords Dance? I mean, it's not a bad one, but I'm not gonna use it. Hey, a Pokemon that's actually weak to Wartortle. Oh, there we go. It's gonna happen. I wonder if they'll ever make it to where if a Pokemon hits the level to evolve, it'll, in the middle of a battle, it will evolve. It'd be cool. It'd be very anime-like, but... Alright, look at that, we got a Blastoise! I wish this is the thing that told us what floor we were on. I need to offload some of these items anyways. But I want to get that Firestone because we got our Blastoise. Now I want to get Ninetales. And then our team will be complete. Where am I going? I was like, where the fuck is the door? That's the other thing, is like the younger generation just can't appreciate the music that's in these older games. And I don't care if that makes me sound old, because I don't give a shit. Yep. Now we'll keep the PP up. Don't need Swords Dance. 9 was Takedown, I believe. Don't need that either. Right? What was 36? Self-destruct. Yeah, we don't need that either. No, we are not doing Suicide Lead Haunter. Ba ba da ba ba da ba 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 da. Alright. Ah, there it is. Firestorm. Vulpix is evolving. And now we got that beautiful Ninetales over there. Fuck yes. Alright, so unless we decide to add a new member to the squad, that's our team. That is our team. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys think we should swap out Kadabra. Kadabra's pretty much a powerhouse, but Haunter's really not far behind. The only difference is Kadabra getting stab on Psychic is obviously something that Haunter is lacking. Did we already battle these losers? Oh, not that one. Blast. And I know it's just Bubble Beam, but I feel like Bubble Beam is more than sufficient for a Blastoise right now. Hydro Pump we're not going to get for a while, which is not that great anyways. I mean, damage-wise, but the accuracy sucks. And at least we'll get Silph. But we're not going to get Silph until at least after this. I mean, we'll get... because we'll get through Silph, we'll battle Giovanni, and then probably battle Sabrina, and then go down to Fuchsia. Look at that terrible Ninetales back sprite. But we got Flamethrower now. Yeah, see, now with Flamethrower and after evolving, this is big-ass Vulpix is now just one-shotting everything. Freaking crit. Don't even know if it was needed. It didn't one-shot. And yeah, I mean, I realize we're almost 10 levels above, but considering Vulpix wasn't doing it, and then Ninetales is just sitting here slaughtering, it makes the difference. You can't. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that to the person who is trying to save you. Don't tell me I can't. The Master Ball. What is that? Oh man, I found some milk. Mistook you for a Silph worker. Nope, I just wanted to see if you wanted me to kick your ass. Oh, I'm so glad we finally got Ninetales and Blastoise. Easily two of my favorites. I really wish I had the Shadowless versions of both of them. I do, however, have first edition Minty Mint Brock's Ninetales. I love the crap out of that thing. Oh, what good Blastoise do I have? I have the 20th anniversary full art promo Blastoise. I've got the Radiant Blastoise. I think I have the full art Mega Blastoise from Evolutions. There's like none of those Blastoise, they all pale in comparison to the base set. Again, that simplicity, it's just like it's so clean. Like it's not busy. So you're able to appreciate the actual art more than a lot of the newer shit. I mean, Dark Blastoise is a pretty cool art too, and so is the Japanese CD promo. Like, that's some really good art. But I feel like the base set arts are just so well known that they're like the iconic standard. I think that's also like what was the most disappointing thing for me when we got Evolutions. I was so excited for Evolutions, and we got, because I mean we got Charizard was in there, Ninetales, Nidoking, Raichu, Magneton, but for whatever reason they didn't have the Bulbasaur or the Squirtle line. Like, why? Why the hell would you cut those out when you know, like, those are... People would buy more just for the chance to collect that shit. Because I sure would have. Especially with the classic, like, not Galaxy, what was the old foil called? Was it Galaxy Star? I don't remember. But that original... Wizard of the Coast foiling. Because then we got the celebrations, and it was like, oh, celebrations. Like, yeah, you can get... Okay, Nidoking, what the hell's wrong with you? Stop. Throw a rock at this thing and be done with it. Like, yeah, celebrations, you got Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise in it, but the art was ruined by the foiling and the giant Pikachu stamp. So, it's not the same. I thought we'd end up clearing this floor out before we called it, and I don't... Not this floor in particular, but, like... I thought we'd clear out the rest of the grunts. Well, no, because then we'd have to... We'd have to battle Gary. And then we also have Giovanni, so... I may just wrap it. I mean, there shouldn't be much more, especially on this floor, but... Yeah, that lack of sleep is just like, it's really catching up to me. This team is pretty solid. Come on. I at least do want to finish the floor up, because it'd be really weird to start like in the middle of a group. At least I can just go up to the next floor and go, okay, this is where we left off. Almost, Nidoking. Soon. I believe... I thought I thought Team 26 was in Silphco. It may not be, though. So I may have to actually look. And I'd definitely like to have Earthquake in my back pocket for whenever we battle Giovanni. Okay, yeah, we already fought him. Alright. Let's go ahead and we'll leave things off here. And then when we come back, we'll finish off the grunts in Silph. We'll battle Gary. We'll battle Giovanni. And probably Sabrina, too. So we got a couple big battles to look forward to next time. So hopefully it won't be too long before we get to stream this again. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it. Thank you to everybody who